Hello and welcome to Celtic Roots Radio, coming to you today from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Celtic, folk, folk rock, Appalachian, bluegrass, Scottish, Irish, Breton, Cajun. If it's Celtic or roots music you like, you'll find it here on Celtic Roots Radio.
Surrounded by meager company, your hopes have all been sinking while your bills are piling up. But when Katie comes a-Callin', she'll fill your empty cup. You might be feeling sorry, you might be feeling blue, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know what you should do. You might be torn asunder, you might be just askew, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know it's good for you. You're free. Pour that cup of hot and lace it with a dram. The phone can go and ringing, and don't you give a damn. You might be feeling sorry, you might be feeling blue, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know what you should do. You might be torn asunder, you might be just askew, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know it's good for you. You've been fed. When Katie comes a-Callin', you know the good is dead. The cloud that you've been under and the bitterness you felt, when Katie comes a-Callin', your heart will surely melt. You might be feeling sorry, you might be feeling blue, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know what you should do. You might be torn asunder, you might be just askew, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know it's good for you. You might be feeling sorry, you might be feeling blue, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know what you should do. You might be torn asunder, you might be just askew, but when Katie comes a-Callin', you know it's good for you.
Gee, Jitch, what about yous? Welcome to another Celtic Roots Radio show with some more great new music, just a wee bit of crack from me, Raymond McCullough. And we started the show off today with a lively wee song, Katie Comes a-Callin', from a lady called Maria Dunn from Alberta, Canada. Our show today is sponsored again by Belfast Girls, a best-selling Irish novel about three girls growing up in post-Troubles Belfast, now on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, Kindle, Nook, etc. You can also hear it on a new Belfast Girls podcast, which you'll find on iTunes. And for more information on the author, Jerry McCullough, check out Jerry with a G and a Y, McCullough.com, or go to Jerry's fan page on Facebook for regular updates. Jerry is also a member of our Celtic Roots Cafe network, where you'll now find over 40 great music videos, information about some of our artists and bands, photos, forum posts and a blog. Just click the cafe button on our main website, CelticRootsRadio.com. On our last couple of shows, we discussed the two versions of our podcast and the problem with some iPods crashing while listening to the AAC version. Les Howard from Decatur, Georgia, also emailed us on this subject. Inspired by the discussion of MP3 versus AAC formats in your latest show, I wanted to add my 2 cents in. I pulled down your RSS feed onto my Android phone, and the AAC version works just fine for me, so it isn't an Apple device only capability. What I would find helpful would be separate RSS feeds for the MP3 and the AAC versions of the podcast. Every time you release a show, my podcatcher downloads both versions, but I really only need one. Thanks for your delightful podcast. It's always a joy to listen to and has introduced me to many musicians I was previously unaware of. Thanks for encouraging comments, Liz, and also the news that our AAC version works on Android phones. I appreciate that some of you are getting both versions downloaded, but to do it any other way would mean having 2 separate podcasts, which would just make things too complicated at our end. Our last show touched on politics, and Ed Freeman also emailed us at length with the subject, Love the Podcast, and about US politics. First off, I'm Ed Freeman from Seattle, Washington, USA, and I love the podcast. You have a great blend of different music styles and commentary. I also like the half-hour format. It's much more suitable for podcast listening than the usual hour format of most podcasts. About US politics, I agree with you. It's very painful watching my country go crazy, and I'm not sure where this is going to wind up. Ed then discusses the arguments about President Obama's origins, the problem of campaign contributions, and the war in Afghanistan. You can read his whole email on our website feedback page. His last paragraph sums it up well, I think. We've got millions of people that haven't worked in years and are looking at their benefits running out, many more than the whole population of Ireland. We have a whole generation that is trying to retire on busted pensions, but people in poverty don't make much campaign contributions. Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head there, Ed. Unfortunately, we live in times where corporations with far too much money and power can control the world's economy without contributing financially to it. Like yourself, Ed, I'm not sure where it's going to wind up either. Do keep in touch with us through email or Facebook message, or follow us on Twitter, Celtic_Roots, and do go to your local iTunes store and review the show for us. You'll find our other podcasts on iTunes too. Just stick my name into the search box. Remember, in between our podcast shows, you can listen to Celtic Roots Radio all day long, complete with all the crack from myself, on our 24/7 Live 365 station. And we're listening now to the Sarah Burnell Band from Ontario, Canada, with a couple of Breton-style reels. They reel Tziganes. That was a great wee bit of bluegrass there. Lay Down Your Weary Load from the Kickin Brass Band in Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. I mentioned in the last show that we were about to have a UK election, which wasn't completely accurate. Actually, all that the rest of the UK had was a referendum on alternative voting. But here in Northern Ireland, we had that, plus elections to our local assembly and local council elections. We already have alternative voting. We call it proportional representation in Northern Ireland, which simply means that everybody's vote counts. The least popular candidates are eliminated and those votes transferred to the voter's second choice candidate. Same applies to surplus votes for the most popular candidates. This process is repeated until a certain quota of votes is reached. It's a pretty fair way of doing things, especially in our unique Northern Ireland situation. Unfortunately, even so, the outcome this time was even more polarised than before. The extremist parties once again gained at the expense of the more moderate ones. What can I say? At least we have a situation now where even the extremist parties are prepared to work together by and large. That wasn't always the case in the fairly recent past, so it's much better to have things argued out politically in a reasonably sensible way than the past alternative of trying to sort out our differences using bombs and bullets, kidnappings and other violent activities. As the odds for BT telephones used to say, it's good to talk. And now we have new kinds of politicians like the Green Party getting elected and representatives of ethnic minorities like the Chinese community. We have around 10,000 Chinese people living in Northern Ireland, and they are our largest ethnic minority community. Because of all the conflict here, we didn't have much immigration during the Troubles, mostly just Chinese and some Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi people. But since the mid-90s we've had quite a lot. One town in County Tyrone now has an 11% Portuguese population, and lots of small towns in County Down and elsewhere are getting used to having quite a few Polish workers in local factories and food production plants, plus Filipinos working in retirement homes and hospitals. The majority of immigrants live in Belfast, especially in the south of the city, where there are more houses to rent and lots of restaurants, Queen's University, etc. It makes Belfast a much more cosmopolitan city than it ever was before, though there are some people who aren't so keen on that. Of course, of all people, we have absolutely no room to complain about immigrants, and we've been continually emigrating to the New World, as we call it, for hundreds of years. There are approximately 50 million people of Irish descent in North America, not to mention Australia, New Zealand, the UK mainland and other parts of the world. If this show depended only upon listeners living in Ireland, we would have very few downloads. And not all, but a reasonable proportion of our tourist industry depends on people of Irish background coming over to see the old country again. Long may it continue. This is Lazy Days, a sort of rocky classical tune from Fiddler Natalie in Iowa, USA.
And ships that sail pull the blocks with a hearty yell. Another hull heads down the rails to sail the open sea, boys. Then we raise the mast and set the rig, wrap the sails, secure the gig, pour the grog and dance a jig. She's ready for the sea, boys. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brakes, barks, and yawls we've seen. Wooden boats and ships of sail forever stir the soul. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brakes, barks, and yawls we've seen. The finest ships upon the seas come from those days of sail, boys. Like her sister ships that came before, of oak, pine, brass, and more, as solid as the crews who swore their lives are in her hands, boys. Yes, I walked those decks and rigging climbed, cast my eyes from crow's nest high. I'll miss it till the day I die. That life at sea was mine, boys. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brakes, barks, and yawls we've seen. Wooden boats and ships of sail forever stir the soul. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brakes, barks, and yawls we've seen. The finest ships upon the seas come from those days of sail, boys. sails across the bay, and through the islands makes her way. Our sons and daughters know the days of sail will soon be gone, boys. And the captains all who knew them best, Slocum, Walters and the rest, their legends told will stand the test of time when they're all gone, boys. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brigs, barks, yawls we've seen, wooden boats and ships of sail forever stir the soul. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brigs, barks, yawls we've seen, the finest ships on the seas come from those days of sail, boys. To rum where fortunes won, now ships return that once were gone, restored to former glory come to leave the crowds in awe, boys. Now our children walk those decks again, thank God they will remember when those wooden ships of sail did rend the seas around our shores, boys. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brigs, barks, yawls we've seen, wooden boats and ships of sail forever stir the soul. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brigs, barks, yawls we've seen, the finest ships on the seas come from those days of sail, boys. Schooners, sloops, brigantines, brigs, barks, and yawls we've seen, the finest ships upon the seas come from those days of sail, boys. Come from those days of sail, boys. Come from those days of sail.
That was Dave Curtis, also from Ontario, Canada, with Schooners, sloops, brigantines. Apart from economic aspirations, one of the early reasons why so many Irish and also Scottish people migrated to North America was the need for religious freedom. In 17th and 18th century Ireland, both Roman Catholics and Presbyterians were second-class citizens compared to those who were of the Anglican or Protestant ascendancy and who made the laws. Until the days of Daniel O'Connell and Catholic emancipation, Roman Catholics were not allowed to own land, and previous to that, priests had been hunted down and murdered, and secret worship had to be carried on at a mass rock out in the wilds. Presbyterians, though supposedly of the same Protestant religion, were often forced to worship in secret in the countryside, and ridiculed as Blackmouths by their Anglican brethren for meeting blackberries there. Many of these Ulster Scots settled in the Appalachian mountain region and were often called hillbillies, referring to their songs about William of Orange. The Scottish Covenanters also were nicknamed rednecks because many signed the Scottish Covenant in their own blood and wore a red cloth around their neck as a sign of this. Many of these fled to Ulster in the 17th century and later emigrated to North America. Although both Presbyterian and Roman Catholic, in both Scotland and Ireland, came to North America seeking freedom from religious intolerance, unfortunately we did not see any need to apply the same rule to the indigenous Native American people we found there. We treated their worship of the Creator as pagan and devil worship, simply because we didn't understand it, and we perpetuated the same intolerance upon them that we had experienced from the English back home. Well, we're listening now to Judith Weikle from Wyoming, USA, with a tune called Rakes of Kildare and the song a-Callin.
Marka
a welcome mat, a house on High Street where I can hang my hat. Summer evenings on the Westport train, Neelam Tinton more the Hinton fame. Clouds rolling in the western sky, Gronny well I hear you when the seagulls cry. Your perfume lingers across the bay, cover me with rain on a soft day. Grace the queen of the Mayo shores, waves breaking as the ocean roars. My father took me on that Westport train, he left Tinton or the Hinton fame. Clouds rolling in the western sky, Gronny well I hear you when the seagulls cry. Your perfume lingers across the bay, cover me with rain on a soft day. And I'll sing my song like I remember you. What it might have been just cuts me through, but I'll see you on that Westport train, Neelam Tinton or the Hinton fame. Nothing like your own heart, no matter where you travel on this earth. Peace of mind and a cornerstone, Westport town, there's no place like home. And I'll sing my song like I remember you. What it might have been just cuts me through, but I'll see you on that Westport train, Neelam Tinton more the Hinton fame, Neelam Tinton more the Hinton fame.
Ken ÓMáille and the Twilight Lords from California, USA, and a song called Westport Town. We're going to finish now with another song from Ontario, Canada, John McLurg and Someone Thinks of You. Hope to see you all soon now. Slant.
Look how the clock it quivers, look how the time goes fast, look how the years have made a change to all the things we thought would last. We can't afford to be wealthy, from now on we must stick to what is kind. There's really nothing that the rich man has that the poor man can't hold in his mind. On the far side of this small town, the drive-in has just closed down. A dreamless picture and a dreamless sleep, with the black flies circling around. When you've got nothing else to do, remember sometime, somewhere, someone still thinks of you. All through that first summer, and we slaved for the joy we could find. The boss let us have a radio, it played the one about the strawberry wine. I'm glad you've chosen the good life, and your children will have horses to ride. I'm glad your heart has published all the great things it used to hide. I have burned all of my bad books, I have scattered my sad seeds. there's one thing I have learned from you, it's that the conflict brings the key. But when you dream in shades of blue, remember sometime, somewhere, someone still thinks of you.
Well, that's all we have time for on this show. Remember, you can find out more information about the artists and songs played on the show on our website at CelticRootsRadio.com. And if you're an independent artist and you'd like to hear your music played on this show, again, you'll find details on our website. That's CelticRootsRadio.com. Tune in again next week to Celtic Roots Radio. I'm Raymond McCullough, coming to you from Ireland. Slán agus Banagia.